Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net and it is Friday the 13th of June. Thanks again for watching. Hope you've had some sunshine today wherever you are. I know the southern half of the country has enjoyed a fine June summer's day, but over the northern half it's been cloudy and there's been outbreaks of rain, and we're now looking at heavy showers forming across eastern parts of England for this evening. Could be an odd thunderstorm even overnight across central and southern parts of the country. But I'm really interested in this video in what's coming up, because of course when we get a dry spell developing such as we're having at the moment, the question always arises, how long will it last? Well, let's just put it in context first of all. This is the England and Wales precipitation total from the Met Office who calculate these figures. This is the total up to the 11th of June, and what it's showing us, it's the blue line on the graph here that we're interested in, and that's showing us totals up to the 11th of June of 29 millimetres, which is 44% of total. Now, of course, with the dry weather coming up, this line probably is going to be straightening off something like that. I would expect it to try and pick up a little bit in this period here, and it may well get back to nearer the 100% mark, I think, by the end of the month. Scotland precipitation looks like this, 68% of total so far, and they've had 56 millimetres of rain. This probably does come off a little bit and probably ends up again around about the 100% mark, I would have thought, by the end of the month, perhaps just a little bit below. Northern Ireland, 37 millimetres of rainfall, and so far 53% of normal, and probably going to be ending up, I would have thought, something of that order. So I think Northern Ireland in for about 70 to 80% of normal rainfall. Temperatures looking like this so far. Now, this is Central England temperature. This is the CET. Lots and lots of squiggly lines on this one. But essentially what we're looking at here is the black line through the middle here is the average from 1961 through to 1990. Then the line that we're really interested in on this map is this year, which is the blue line you can see going up and down here. That's this year's totals. And what that shows us is a CET, Central England Temperature Series, which is the longest temperature series, continuous instrumentation series in the world. It goes back to 1772. And what that is showing us on here is temperatures consistently, look, if we draw a line through here, consistently above the average, and in fact we're actually 1.94 degrees Celsius above normal when you take the CET throughout the whole of 2014. We're almost 2 degrees above where we should be. So 2014 so far is certainly heading to be quite a warm one, and of course with a fairly warm June under our belt so far and no sign of that changing, I think June's going to come in at a warm month as well. Now, rainfall over the next few days, looks like we'll see very little. This is the rainfall total for the next 5 days up to the 18th of June. Now, bear in mind this includes the potential for some heavy thunderstorms during today, and once they've gone, we'll see far less rainfall. But on the map here, showing this idea of the thunderstorms running down central parts of the country during today, very little rain elsewhere. Day 6 to 10 looks like this up to the 23rd of June. Little rainfall again, yes, bits of showers across Scotland, across Ireland, probably from thunderstorms, but elsewhere we're looking at 2 to 5 millimetres at most. And still limited rainfall as well during the next 5-day period, the 11th to day 15 period up to the 28th of June, and again we're only 2 to 5 millimetres if anywhere sees it, and probably that rainfall more than anything coming from morning drizzle. So then, very little rainfall around. What do the long-range models say then? How long is this dry weather going to be in? Well, this is the CFS for week 1. It shows higher than normal heights up towards the northwest of the country. Look here, lower than normal down towards the south. And this basically shows the ridge dominating through the country during the next week. This is the forecast for week 2. So this is from the 20th through to the 26th of June. And again, look, we've got higher than normal heights towards the north here, lower than normal down towards the south. No real hints of any change showing on this chart, but I think the CFS possibly hasn't made the right call here. I'm wondering if the trough out towards the east is going to be somewhere in there, and so we do get more of a northerly flow, bringing more in the way of showers down eastern parts of the country into the beginning of the new week, the week after next, so around about the sort of 23rd period. And whether this trough to the south manages to get some thunderstorms across more southern areas. That's what I still think we need to watch for during the back end of next weekend, which is the weekend, which could be the 22nd, and then into Monday the 23rd. That's what we need to be watching as we go into that new week. Week 3 from the 27th of June, going forward to the 3rd of July. Now, the CFS pulls away the high low up towards the northwest. It still keeps it in, but it gives us a trough kind of within this sort of zone here, builds the high here and brings a trough down across eastern parts of Europe. Now, what that would do is put the more unsettled conditions across Eastern Europe. It brings in an increased risk of showers across the UK. Now, I think that's more likely, as I said, in this period, the 23rd of June through to around about the 29th. That's the time I'm watching for it turning more showery. Now, into week 4, the CFS running from the 4th of July to the 10th of July brings us back into an almost normal height regime. It builds this big ridge across the north of Canada, running into the northern parts of Russia. It puts a trough out here in the Atlantic with a small ridge in here, but then brings normal heights through the UK. I think during this period we probably are going to be in dry conditions at least up until the 8th, but big question marks over this one. Big question marks over how this develops at the beginning of July. It could be almost a nothing type of pressure flow where we're actually into thundery showers, very similar to what we've been through the last couple of weeks. You know, you get those showers that are in on an odd day and then perhaps get 1 or 2 dry days. Annoying quantities of rain, really, I think, are probably going to be the order of the day during this period. But I think we have to think of it leaning towards a dry spell. Now, the Japanese Met Agency have released their forecast, as they do every week, for the next 4 weeks. This is week 1, running from the 3rd to the 9th. So this is going up to... sorry, not from the 3rd to the 9th. What am I talking about here? Not from the 3rd to the 9th. This is running through... where are we going from here? We're going from the 12th, so this goes from yesterday, up to the 19th of June, so next Thursday. And look, here's our trough in the Atlantic. There's the big ridge across the UK, and there's the trough down into Europe. But what's interesting, look, is you notice how that northeasterly flows across the east of the country. That's where we've been watching, and that's where I've been telling you about this risk of showers, this risk of heavy showers coming through. So they certainly see this idea developing right at the end of this week. I think they're probably a bit early with that, but it's on their charts as well. Week 2, so running from next Friday, which will be the 20th, through until the 26th. Look at that, low the normal heights. They've pulled the high up towards the north here, and they've got the jet coming back across the Atlantic, and they actually bring us into more unsettled conditions. Now, I think the pressure flow underneath here probably isn't as straightforward as that appears. I think what we're going to find is with high pressure centred somewhere in here and a flow going around the high something like that, we probably have a low across Central Eastern Europe here, and we probably pick up more of a north to northeasterly flow like so down through the country during this period. So remember, this is from the 20th through to the 26th, and I think it's late in the weekend. Remember I said about this date to the 23rd possibly when that breakdown comes in. I think that's where we're going to be. So it brings cooler conditions, it brings wetter conditions, particularly across eastern parts of the country during that week. And then into week 3 and 4, so this will be from the 27th of July through to the 27th of June through to the 11th of July. This one really loses a lot within the detail, but you notice it's lost the high. It keeps the ridge here across northern Canada as the CFS did, but the model's really struggling with this period. I think what this is trying to hint to us is that we will gain a ridge back in the Atlantic. So we'll probably start to see a ridge building out here, linking in with the feature here. So we get a ridge here, we get a trough coming through, and then a major trough across Eastern Europe here. But this ridge kind of collapses back eastwards. It doesn't collapse, builds eastwards. And I think what it will do from around the 29th, as we've just seen on the CFS, it will build pressure from that point on through the UK, going into more of a north or northeasterly, and then eventually to a north or northwesterly, which is why I think we go into this dry spell, although still with possible thundery showers during that early part of July. It'll be interesting to see how this one works out, won't it? But the pattern's there, and we seem to be sticking with it. So let's just see what happens. Be interesting to know, actually, how the models perform, particularly the operationals that you'll see, whether they're just going to go really, really dry and keep the high pressure over us and just stick with these dry conditions even into the week after next. That's going to be fascinating to see over the coming days. But I'm going to leave you with that for now. Don't forget weatherweb.net kept free of charge because you keep on coming back and using the site. It means we put more adverts in front of you, and that basically means that we generate more revenue, which keeps us free of charge. So thank you for coming back and watching us. Please do spread the word to your friends about weatherweb.net. But for now, whatever you're doing, have a great day. Thanks for watching and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.